All right. Let's lock in. It's going to be a big one. XRP pumps despite new attack. We are obviously talking about this most recent lawsuit. The Oregon Attorney General, Dan Rayfield. We're going to make ourselves awfully familiar with this Danny boy. And we're going to get into it tonight. Full breakdown on our current events, markets, and the fact that we're now moving back up. XRP back above $2.20 this morning and continuing up here this afternoon with President Trump easing everybody, bringing them back down. It's going to be okay. And just like that, the markets ripped back off again, essentially after he made statements saying that he has no intention of firing Jerome Powell and that they're going to be meeting with President Xi in May. And he also acknowledged that the tariffs are going to be coming down. So a little bit of nice, gentle words for the markets. And we're already back off and racing. And, we warned about this. We said it's not time to think that this is the end of the world, that we've missed the bull run, that XRP is not going to break out to a new all-time high. Even Bitcoin was really showing strength. Now, the stock market's still weak. We still see a lot of vulnerabilities over there in the overvalued stock market. Real estate reset underway. Main Street economy going to take years to recover. And completely revolutionize, where we're at with this fourth industrial revolution. Truly an unprecedented time. But just like Jim Rickard said the other day in that video talking about Trump unleashing the $150 trillion of wealth within America and basically our new sovereign wealth fund, he said if you get positioned and you get on the right side of this thing, and it echoes what we've been saying over here, if you're positioned in the right assets and then you can survive inflation, you're going to make it out really good, okay? Because these assets are set to absolutely fly. We know that President Trump wants this big, beautiful bill passed. This will add trillions to the deficit. This is an inflationary, big, beautiful bill. And to me, it just acknowledges that, President Trump, Scott Bessent, they want to revitalize the Main Street American economy. They're not worried about the stock market coming down and the suits not being able to have as great of a time as they've been having. Scott Bessent, he lets them know, guys, you're still going to have a good time. You're still going to be able to sip your champagne, okay? You just might not be able to buy the second yacht. You might not be able to buy another place, a summer cabin or whatever it may be, right? You're still going to have a party, okay? And as we've been saying, now's the time to be as bullish as ever on real utility, real value, whether that be in the crypto space or in the old world too, in America. And we're going to break it down here in tonight's episode, basically where we're at in these markets, why we're moving back up today. Is this for real? Well, I'll show you right here. One concern that I do have is that this just got shared here tonight. Watcher Guru sharing Jim Cramer says that the bear market rally could become a real recovery. So I guess we can pack it up, right? If we thought we were going to recover, we thought we were going to send it, Jim Cramer just gave us that kiss of death, so we might be in trouble. Hey, Petro Pro, I appreciate the 5 spot. Oregon has lost XRP to the moon. Matter of fact, to the bank, USA is back on top where we belong, and crypto is here to stay. USA, best channel. And shout out to everybody else fighting the good fight, too. This isn't just an American thing. This is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on a level playing field for everybody. That's what we're shooting for. That's what we strive for. Obviously, we focus on what's going on here back home, but with the focus on the world events as well. We know that this, this new financial system is so interconnected, and we're all seeking basically the answer to the same problem, which is how to get away from the fiat currencies. Your government might be destroying your fiat currency faster than ours, but it's all essentially a race to the bottom. America has the cleanest shirt in the closet, but the house is still on fire. Right? That's the analogy that we've used for a while now in regards to these fiat currencies. The dollar, despite its flaws, despite the devaluation, other countries, it's worse. And apparently Scott Bessent is actually going to be having a press conference tomorrow to talk about this new financial system and potential, conversations about currency manipulation, which was the number one item that President Trump listed over the weekend when it came to non-monetary, basically, actions that are being made by countries outside of tariffs. and that would be currency manipulation. How do you solve the currency manipulation, right? You are using gold. We're seeing central banks stockpile a record amount of gold to back the currencies and to establish trust once again. But how do you actually pick this thing up while providing transparency? We know that the new rails will be DLT, Distributed Ledger Technology, and we believe that XRP is going to be in the lead along with a few other main utility cryptocurrencies. I think that we positioned ourselves so well. And so this market recovery bounce back, something that we expected. I do believe that the bottom is in regards to cryptocurrency. Is the stock market bottom in? Not quite yet. And did Jim Cramer just give us the kiss of death? Absolutely. But the fundamentals are too strong here in the cryptocurrency space, with SEC Chair Paul Atkins now being confirmed, 72 ETFs on his desk. Dozens of them are XRP ETFs. XRP futures just went live on Coinbase today. I might place an XRP long on Coinbase futures just for the culture, just because. I'll let you know how that goes. Each contract is backed by 500 XRP. So when you go to buy just one of these options, these futures options that Coinbase is now offering, you have to basically bring, I think it said about $500 in collateral, almost $500 in margin. So they're giving you a little bit of leverage on these, I guess. I still don't know quite how these work fully, but I'm going to be looking into it and then reporting back for everybody, and then probably going long XRP just for the culture, but we'll see how that plays out. And I will let you guys know, but from what I'm looking at right now, first glance, it appears that each option is backed by 500 XRP. So if you're looking to make a bet, you got to bring $1,000, or maybe they give you a little bit of margin, a little bit of leverage to work with as well. But I'm looking at that right now, and the volumes picked up today. Big inflows on XRP. I was waiting for the daily candle to close because I wanted to look at today's inflows and see what today's market cap multiplier will be. So if we have enough time tonight, I might pull that up and take a look at that. But I do want to get into tonight's update because we do have a little bit to talk about, and then we're going to roll right on into our Q&A. I appreciate everybody for stopping by here tonight. As you guys know, all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. The XRP poker table is now live on our website. Along with our dog tags, we have the Better Bitcoin and the XRP family. For those of you guys that participated in last week's live show, we gave away dog tags. Those orders are going out. They started going out yesterday, going out today. They will be on the way, and you should be receiving an email with your tracking number. And I will be announcing, we'll probably be doing another giveaway on Thursday's live show, okay? So make sure you guys have subscribed, hit that notification bell. Come on back for Thursday. I'm planning on giving away some XRP. How does that sound? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's get right on into it. It's going to be a good one. Let's roll. Bitcoin back up to 93,000 right now. Nice move today. All the way down at 87 earlier when we opened up. And you see we popped all the way through 90. And we had a massive sell wall actually at 92,000. And we broke right through it with significant inflows coming in. And I'm going to show you guys that later in this episode. XRP actually, after I went live, just popped up here to 221. Maybe I helped flip the switch. I don't know what just happened there because it was at 219 right as I was getting started. Now we're back up to 221, bouncing up. And the reason why we titled this episode here, XRP Pumps Despite New Attack, is we're up 36% from the $1.60 low back on April 7th. So for those of you guys who think I'm talking about a 5-minute chart, think I'm talking about a 15-minute chart, I'm not even talking about a 4-hour chart. Okay, I'm talking about since the lows, $1.60, April 7th, we're up 36% right now, right? And XRP strength is on display once again. That's why we titled it XRP Moving Higher. That's why we said XRP Relief Rally Begins. That was this morning's episode. And that's why we're titling tonight's episode XRP Pumps Despite New Attack, is because even though the Max FUD campaign against XRP is still underway, and I'm going to show you it later with the Main Street crypto outlets. Well, what are they saying? They're not including or talking about the other 30 cryptos that are included in this lawsuit from the Oregon Attorney General that should be thrown out of courts. It should be thrown out most likely. I haven't read through the full briefing, but I'm going to be all over this one because it's absolutely ridiculous that they included XRP in this. Just the fact that they included XRP. But now you have the mainstream crypto news that are highlighting XRP and not mentioning any other of the cryptos all part of the misinformation, keep you out of XRP, keep XRP suppressed so that we can prop up. Guess what? Crypto's got a free pass with this lawsuit. That would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I figured let's title tonight's episode XRP Pumps Despite New Attack, because back in the day when we didn't used to, our strength right now is the fact that we can take this shot and it didn't impact price at all. In fact, we kept on moving higher today. You have to understand the shift. We used to get good news about XRP and Ripple and the price would come down. Now, not only are we getting attacked, but the price continues higher. So let's get on into it. We have some things to cover here. This is what I'm worried about in the Main Street economy right here. This is Intel planning to cut around 20% of its workforce, impacting about 20,000 employees. Continuing on, this is Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, who is running the Department of Education right now. And she's explaining that, yes, beginning May 5th, you will need to start repaying your student loans. This is not to in any way try to cause hardship. There are several different payment plans that you can access, but they need to get on it because there isn't going to be any loan forgiveness program. So bad news for those of you guys who thought maybe your student loan debt was going to be forgiven. It's not. And it's criminal what the Biden administration did by making folks, one, not have to pay, but then also prolonged the period, basically stopped it from reporting to the credit unions. See, and the reason why there are payment programs and backstops and ways to make it easy. If you do have hardships, there's programs for that. But the problem that we have right now is that the Biden administration basically stopped over 5 million student loan borrowers that were in default from that being reported to the credit agency. That's 5 million. 5 million student loan borrowers in default. You stack that up on top of 7 million borrowers through the FHA. For those of you guys outside of America who don't know what FHA loans are, this is the government-backed programs that allow for the new home buyers to get 0% or 3.5% down 30-year mortgages, which to folks outside the U.S., this is unheard of. You don't have programs like this really outside the U.S. that I'm aware of. You guys can comment down below and let me know what kind of programs you might have in your country. But here in the United States, our FHA program allows for folks to get in 0% down, 3.5% down. And 7 million borrowers were facing foreclosure and should have been foreclosed on. But the Biden administration was not only telling them, don't worry about paying, they were actually covering those payments for them. So 5 million student loan borrowers should have been in default are in default. And now it's going to hit their credit report. Now you're not going to get your tax return. Now you potentially might have your wages garnished. I mean, they're really getting serious about this. But this is all because the Biden administration was letting everything go. Remember, Jerome Powell was cutting rates, even though the stock market was at all-time high and inflation was still climbing higher. Jerome Powell was cutting rates, easing conditions, doing his part for the Biden administration. And the Biden administration was covering all of this up with the student loans, 5 million plus, and with the FHA borrowers, 7 million plus. You're talking about 12 million borrowers in default. This is just the tip of the iceberg. All relates back to the global margin call that we've been breaking down this whole time. All the way to the Japan carry trade, all the way to Joe Blow crypto bro, who's over leveraged in his meme coins. All part of it. FHA, student loan, Japan carry trade, Joe Blow crypto went a little long, got in trouble. Okay? So we're seeing who's swimming naked, and it's ugly. It's absolutely ugly. And so the Trump administration, it's just like Secretary Yellen. I mean, we can just go through the list here of what was handed off to this administration, which was $7 trillion of basically front loading the Trump administration with over $7 trillion of bonds that have to be rolled over, short-term debt that has to be rolled over. So Trump was handed this ticking time bomb. And I think that that's why we got the statements today of him saying, we're going to ease up. I'm not trying to fire Jerome Powell right now. We just want him to bring down rates. We're not going to go to war with China. We actually want to come to an agreement here. We're going to meeting with President Xi in May. We already have 34 countries coming to the table, 70 plus that have already shown interest. Everybody's being brought to the table. And the fact of the matter is that despite what Trump's been given, he still holds a very good hand. And we need to play that out. We need to play these cards. We need to double down on making America the crypto capital of the world, bringing in investment capital, bringing down taxes, bringing down regulation. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to have a lot of pissed off people if he doesn't go forward with those plans. And he's hammering everybody on, these student loans. The FHA, which they just announced last week that the FHA borrowers are now going to have to be paying up as well too. So everybody's going to have to pay up. But think about this, right? If we reduce or eliminate your income, your payroll, your estate and gift tax, you might actually be able to afford paying back your student loan. You might actually be able to afford that home. You might be able to keep up with inflation. So I'm telling you right now, I understand where a lot of folks are coming from in their frustration. And President Trump and this Congress are going to have to get on it. Otherwise, we're going to have folks very, very upset that we're not following through on those actions, on those commitments. Now, let's get it going here. We have President Trump speaking on Jerome Powell. Take a listen.
You have no intention of firing Jerome Powell because your economic advisor Kevin Hassett a few days ago said that you and people in the White House were studying this idea of possibly before the term ends.
No.
Do you have any plans on doing it?
None whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. It could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
You have no intention of firing Jerome Powell.
And really what happens here is the mainstream media is drumming up all these false narratives here time and time again. I mean, they've been slandering Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense, all this crap about how, they're looking for replacements. That's a joke. All this talk about how Scott Bessent was getting a little scared and might be leaving. That's an absolute joke. Scott Bessent, come on. He's not going anywhere. These guys have no idea what they're talking about, but they have no shame in lying to the American people. And it's because you have to understand, as they dismantle the Pentagon in the military-industrial complex, you have all of those interests attacking. As they go after Big Pharma, all those interests attacking. What did we just announce today? Banning all dyes from our food. See, we've already headed in that direction. And this is what our community's done. We've already banned. We don't give our children red dye. I'm telling you, we don't give our children red dye. Okay. We know the new financial system is going to be backed and run on, digital rails, backed by gold and silver. We've positioned ourselves already. So the mainstream media can keep on lying all they want. They're keeping the public, they're keeping the masses in the dark. Meanwhile, what's happening behind the scenes, I think, is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Many people just aren't going to get on the right side of it. Now, as I titled this episode tonight, this is all part of suppressing XRP, hiding the fact about XRP. There's no reason why XRP should even be mentioned in this lawsuit. But you have an Oregon attorney general, bought and paid for, and he's going to take it to the kangaroo courts over there in Oregon, which is an absolute joke. And they filed a lawsuit here against Coinbase. They've listed XRP, despite the fact that Judge Torres already ruled that XRP is not a security. That is a matter of law. That is the law of the land. But despite that fact, we got this guy. And I'll tell you, when I look at this guy, Dan Rayfield is his name, I can just see it in his eyes. Guy just looks like an evil character. You know what I'm saying? The eyes reveal a lot. You look at this guy, he looks like a bad character. And his actions would match. Okay, so we're looking at this one right here. And this is what I'm talking about with these mainstream outlets leading with XRP. And why do they do this? I'm going to show you here real quick. This is what I said earlier today. Clickbait headlines leading with XRP instead of the 30 other cryptos included. They know exactly what they are doing with this FUD. Just be certain, as a matter of law, XRP is not a security. So Cointelegraph, what they do in this headline is they only include XRP twice. And they don't mention the 30 other cryptos that are included in this lawsuit. Why? XRP's in control of this bull run. XRP's in control of this space. It will always garner the most amount of clicks and views for good reason. But these outlets like to twist it with their FUD. See, it's good. You can either hype up XRP or you can FUD XRP. I like to shoot it straight, but I would be disingenuous if I said that we don't get hype once in a while about our XRP investment, backed on fundamentals, though. Backed on fundamentals. But this is what we're up against right now, and I find it absolutely hilarious because now we get a laugh because back in the day, price would be coming down. We'd have a big sell-off on XRP, and we'd have everybody freaking out and crying about XRP. Oh, XRP is never going to do anything. I'm out of here. But instead, XRP continues climbing higher. And check this one out, guys. This is the co-founder of Gemini, Tyler Winklevoss, defending XRP. See, this is flipped on him. The cat's out of the bag. Okay, the genie's out of the bottle. And now the guys that were not into XRP at all, Gemini delisted XRP. They didn't have any cojones over there. But now Tyler found some, I guess. And now Tyler Winklevoss is defending XRP. He says maybe Oregon's attorney general didn't get the memo. A U.S. federal judge already ruled that XRP is not a security. Impeach this clown for wasting taxpayer money and blatantly defying the law. Here's what's going to happen. Not only are we going to absolutely destroy these guys in the courts, we are going to vote them out of office just as fast as they got in there. Because the problem for these clowns is this is bipartisan. Republican, Democrat, left, right, up, down, this faith, that faith. Sound money is something that resonates with everybody. Level playing field, something that resonates with everybody. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to use a digital currency that in and of itself is not a security, resonates. And that's why these guys are cooked, toast, done. As far as they want to go with this, okay, you want to go down this road, you will not win. And it will be the end of your career. I'm speaking directly to Dan Rayfield right now, Oregon Attorney General. You're finished. You're absolutely finished. You have the entire crypto space now coming together with Tyler Winklevoss defending us. Oh, I just one last point on this to really bring it home, guys. Remember, back in the day, we would have had other guys like this attacking XRP, doubling down on this. They would have been saying some crap about, I don't know why these other 30 cryptos were included in this lawsuit, but I definitely understand why XRP was, because XRP is definitely a security sold by Ripple. That's what we would have dealt with in the past, on top of XRP coming down on the price chart. But we're watching today, that massive green candle coming in. I mentioned it in this morning's video about how we were up against that 220 resistance. We had to flip that back into support, which we've now done. We'll see how well it holds, but this is what we're up against. Now, here's where it gets good. Here's where I get to sit back, and I don't have to hype up XRP. I don't have to sell XRP. I've talked about how the suits are going to be selling it with slideshow presentations. Well, here's the CEO of Tia Cream, basically the fund, the group that put out and got approved for the first XRP ETF. And it just so happened to be a 2 times long XRP ETF. Now we're going to play this clip, and you're going to listen to him say, correct Bloomberg, and once again, Bloomberg Television, trying to say that XRP's only use case is speculation. And now I don't have to come to the defense. I get to sit back with you guys, enjoy my adult beverage, and just enjoy the show. Because we've won as a matter of law, and now we have the suits selling it for us. I don't have to sell anything. Take a listen in, guys, and listen to the comments that he makes about XRP Ledger will tokenize the world, and XRP is the coin with the most utility. See, this isn't just the suit saying, hey, yeah, we have a bunch of different offerings, and yes, we do have an XRP one. No, this is them saying XRP has been our most successful fund ever. XRP has the most utility. XRP will tokenize the world. Let's run the clip. Let's go. Cheers, everybody.
And I think that that's the
use case that you mentioned, because a lot of folks watching probably would have the reaction, the only use case for Ripple and some of these other tokens out there is speculation. So what is the actual use case of XRP?
Okay, so XRP, that's absolutely not the case. You can speculate in it because it's out there and trading. But XRP, they started Ripple, and I'm not going to speak for them, okay? But they started Ripple to facilitate transactions, moving money around, okay? But now it's literally helping tokenize everything. As they develop their level 2 build out, they are really going to tokenize everything. They've just bought a broker-dealer clearing member, as you may know, and I think that that's the first step toward integrating traditional finance with DeFi. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a breakthrough. It is a breakthrough, but it'll happen slower than people think.
Okay, so the 2x.
Let's run it again. We got another clip from him. Take a listen.
Ripple's a company of really professional people working really hard on this. That's why we chose XRP. We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction, but we do believe it's a coin that will have the most utility out there. Bitcoin is a store of value. I agree with Mike McGlone, but I think that XRP has a true use case. There's just no doubt about it. And the Ripple team, from the interaction we've had with them, they're really professional. They act like investment bankers over there. They know what they're doing, and they will make this work.
Ripple is like investment bankers over there. XRP is the coin with the most utility. Bitcoin is a store of value, but XRP has a true use case. There's no doubt about it. And the XRP ledger will tokenize the world. Not from me, not from XRP YouTubers just hyping us up, a little clickbait, a little hype, a little, how you doing? No, not from me. This is from the suits on Bloomberg, and I was pleasantly surprised that he is this up to date on it. And I'm telling you, when these guys live and breathe money, and as soon as they get to start telling their buddies, yeah, man, our XRP ETF, oh yeah, blew every other ETF we've ever launched out of the water. Not even close. You understand? These guys are going to be bragging to each other about how well these XRP ETFs do for them. Okay. Now, this is what we're up against here. I have a couple more points to cover, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. We had a massive sell wall at 92,000 Bitcoin, which I'd seen posted here by Dom Trader View 2. Okay, this is the tweet that he put out this morning. Where was it? Right here. He says, we are coming up to the mother of all sell walls on Binance Spot Market, about 900 Bitcoin waiting to be sold at 92,000. You can check the chart. You can check the chart to see the last times we saw a sell wall this big. We've never cleared through without cooling off first, or it getting pulled after an already strong run into it. So we were facing a massive sell wall on Bitcoin right at 92,000. But check out what happened here. The 1,000 Bitcoin wall on Binance Spot was eaten and price shot up 2,000 in seconds. This was insane to watch live. I haven't seen this bullish aggression in months. Now, I've been saying that there's already so much liquidity on the sidelines. Global M2 is taking off like a meme chart. That's M2 money supply. That's cash waiting to be deployed somewhere. And all it takes is President Trump saying, yeah, don't worry, guys. Boom. Just like that. One little tweet, one little deal, one little statement from President Trump, and we go again. And I mean, this is why people continuously are late to the game, is because they're waiting for this confirmation. They're waiting, for everybody else. Oh, everybody else is bullish now? Okay, let me come in. See, the time to be stacking was to have your orders placed down below $2 when we traded below $2 for a few days. You had a few days to pick up below $2, not long, but you had a few days. You had, quite some time to pick up Bitcoin if that's what you wanted to do, not what I want to do. I don't care to hold any Bitcoin personally. But if you did, waiting for President Trump to give you the green light. And in fact, I was listening to a Twitter space yesterday, and it was a bunch of stock guys talking. And these guys don't know what to do. One of them said, I'm going to wait until I know the bottom is in, as far as he wants confirmation that a deal with China has been made and that all of this is over. Basically, he wants to wait till it's completely safe, and then he's going to step back in. And this is a very respected stock trader that I was listening to. And he admitted to himself that he just didn't want to try to buy dips. He was nibbling a little bit, but he was scared to go in. But he was talking about the stock market. See, and I don't blame him for not wanting to get into the stock market right now, because I still think that you have a lot of turbulence on the way for the stock market, because the stock market is a reflection of Main Street economy. Main Street economy has a ways to go. We haven't priced in a lot of I think the poor economic data and the poor situation on the ground has not been priced into the stock market fully. We've started to approach those levels. But when it comes to the cryptocurrency space, you see how quickly it recovers. It's just not even close. The stock market bounces up by 1 or 2%, and the stock market guys are cheering. Meanwhile, crypto and gold have already disconnected. They've already been ripping all week long. And so this is why our community in particular, I just want to commend you guys for stepping in when you are listening to seasoned investors who are scared, who don't know what to do. They're letting all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt overwhelm them, and they don't know what moves to make. And meanwhile, we just sit back, enjoy the show, set our orders, and accumulate more. And that's exactly what we've been doing, right? Any opportunity on these utility coins, and we hit 11 out of 11 targets, all the way through Bitcoin, XRP, HBAR, DEG. I shared a list of 11 coins with the Discord group last month on March 9th. Every single target was hit to the downside. Every single target was hit, 11 out of 11. And then we started to move back up. And now we're seeing that gas and that steam get cooking. And it's moving quickly. And the folks that bought in here today, they're relatively late. I mean, they're late compared to where we could have been. But they're piling in because you have a lot of folks that are just so uncertain and they're not willing to take the risk right now. But all it took was one statement from President Trump, and then check out what happened. This 1,000 Bitcoin wall on Binance Spot was eaten up. Over 400 million net market bought in that 5-minute window. Shorts got blown out heavy. Check the open interest at the bottom. All we need to watch now is if price loses that white line where that massive wall set, that would be a bearish setup and a textbook deviation. So here's what we need to watch now. We need to make sure that we do not fall back below that 92,000 level for Bitcoin. Okay, that's going to be the level to watch. If we can flip that one back into support and hold this, that'll be great. If we do break through this, this is when we get concerned about going back down towards the lows potentially. Okay, but for right now, we've broken through this level. That massive sell wall of about 1,000 Bitcoin that was just sitting on Binance alone got ate up with over 400 million of net market buys in a 5-minute window. Now, this has happened because everybody's using bots, and we're programmed like bots. Literally, the bots are programmed for Trump makes those statements, and boom, it triggers the algos, and they ape in 400 million net bought just on Binance Spot alone. Let alone what else happened on other exchanges in the futures markets, and that's how quickly that bounce back up. Now, I want to get into Q&A, and I want to see how you guys are doing here tonight. But 1 second, I want to show you here real quick. XRP, let's check it. Our spot inflows. I'll show you guys in real time how I do the market cap multipliers, okay? So this is CoinGlass, and it's interesting. You actually see the net flow is actually negative 15 million. Despite our market cap growing, there is still more money taken out of XRP than came in. That's incredible to watch. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. This is incredible, guys. I mean, you're talking about, look at this, 9 million of net flows for this 2-hour period, 7 million of net flows for that 2-hour period. You look over here, 5 million of inflows in that period. So we're not talking about billions of dollars coming into XRP, right? We're talking about tens of millions of net flows. Yet on this daily chart, we have 7 billion. Let me zoom in right here for you guys. We have about 7 billion of market cap growth on XRP today. This is on the daily chart. So the net flow was actually negative on the day, but because when the inflows did come in, they came in so aggressively, it bid up that price. This is one of the interesting anomalies, I guess, that I saw when I started to do my market cap multiplier analysis. Is I said, wow, on some of these days, you actually have negative outflows, but the market cap still grew. How did this happen? It's because the buying is so aggressive that when the inflows did come in, it was so rapid, it was so quick, and folks who just bought that XRP asset up. And so on a day when you have negative inflows, and you have outflows, right? You have outflows out of XRP, you still have XRP's market cap growing by $7 billion. And see, this is, just destroyed the market cap myth. We've already done that. But now what we're just continuing to observe is how little liquidity it takes coming in to move this asset significantly. Now, when we zoom out and we look at, wow, we already have, it's only been about 1, maybe 2 weeks since that first XRP ETF went live with Tia Cream, launching that 2x long XRP ETF, right? It's only been 2 weeks. He's already on Bloomberg bragging about how it's their most successful ETF and how great XRP is being the coin with the most amount of utility. They're going to tokenize the world, and Ripple is the most professional. They act like investment bankers. Okay. This is before we have dozens of other XRP ETFs going live later this year. And when you add up all of these cumulative inflows that are going to come into XRP, this is why I remain so certain. And I've been pounding the table even when our markets were going down. Not for 1 second have I shown any doubt to our community, because we see how easy it is to move. It's not going to take much, and it is going to come. And it's because you got these guys selling it for us. You got the real utility of XRP being recognized by everybody who's not biased. And even the ones who want to hate on XRP, now you're seeing them come to our defense in the likes of Tyler Winklevoss defending us today. We've come full circle to where we had days where XRP and Ripple would have great news come out, price would come down. To now we're at a point where, we're under attack, we're included in a new lawsuit, but XRP is still moving up, and it's moving up rapidly. So the tides have shifted, just like Brad Garnhouse said. The headwinds have shifted into tailwinds. We have all of the momentum. We have the best hand at the poker table. It's not just a meme, it's reality, and it's being echoed by the suits in Wall Street, acknowledging that Ripple moves like investment bankers. They're making XRP Ledger tokenize the entire world, and XRP is the crypto with the most utility, more utility than Bitcoin. And that's going to be the big one, because the narrative so far has been Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Everything's Bitcoin. And I can't think of a more boring conversation. I mean, it really, really bores me. I tune into the Bitcoin spaces and I try to handle it for just a few minutes. It's some of the most boring conversations I ever have listened to at this point. Most of the time, it's pretty pathetic. Them trying to keep drumming up this Bitcoin story. Meanwhile, don't take it from me. Take it from this guy, CEO of Ethereum. The XRP is the crypto with the most amount of utility. With that being said, let's open it up for Q&A. Everything's at my website, zachrector.com. I appreciate you guys for tuning in here tonight. Let's take a look at what you guys are working with. I'm going to catch up on Super Chats real quick, and then we will go into rapid fire Q&A. Shannon, good to see you. Night XRP fam, can't wait to see you all in Vegas and have drinks with wifey. Shannon, it's going to be a good time. Can't wait to see you there. We're going to be having our Discord meetup too. It's going to be a good one. Discord meetup. Got 2 days of XRP Las Vegas. We got after parties. Going to be a great time. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you. Wes Hill, thank you for the 10 spot. How fast do you think that Atkins will end the case and greenlight all of the ETFs? So, great question, Wes. I think that the case will end in the next 30 days. There's a little bit of process through the courts that has to be done, but we're right there. This is over. All right, the case is over. As far as the ETFs, the XRP ETFs, the final deadline is like October, but I think that we'll get past way before that. So if it doesn't happen in Q2, I expect it in Q3 of this year as far as the ETFs. Yeah, but I think that there's a good chance that we're going to move that timeline up significantly. Yeah, I think that we could watch for Q2 would include April, May, June. I would say Q3. I mean, they're close though. They're close with the futures markets now going live too. They have everything that they need. They have healthy futures markets. That's what they like to see. Yeah, I would say by Q3 we're live with spot XRP ETFs. In the meantime, they're going to let these leveraged XRP ETFs go live. It's completely backwards how Wall Street works in that sense. Instead of giving folks just a spot position without leverage, we have to push leverage on people first before we give them spot ETFs, which is just backwards. But that's Wall Street for us. Now, let's get into rapid fire Q&A. If you guys haven't already too, please make sure you have liked this video. I appreciate you. Yeah, the dog tags are now live on the website. I just added the XRP poker table yesterday. We're going to add the XRP greenhouse. That's going to be added in the next day. And then we're also going to add a bundle where you'll be able to bundle up all of the Bearable Guy. There's about 5 collections for the Bearable Guy setup. And you'll be able to bundle all of those at a discounted rate. The dog tags are on the website now, as well as our TikTok shop. What's my opinion on Charles Schwab doing crypto? The suits can't wait to get in on this. They need it to keep assets under management. They need it to be able to spit out returns that keep people happy as far as their clients. At this point, basically, if you're not getting exposure to crypto, it's like, what are you doing? Right? You got to get some at this point. You have to get some at this point. And so they're all coming. And I think that really they've been trying to stall things up to give themselves time to get all their ducks in a row. But now it's basically we're off to the races now. So Charles Schwab, everybody's coming in. BlackRock's going to launch multiple ETFs. They're probably going to launch an XRP ETF. Yeah. Super quick TA, where do you see XRP end of April? Thank you, sir. Luke Cohen, I appreciate the 10 spot. It's a good question. XRP end of April. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading another comment. Yeah, so we have to break above 250. That's our next level of resistance. 270 will be above that, and then you're going to have a wall waiting at $3. So, are we going to break $3? I think that we could approach $3. Yeah. But my timeline has been extended. Basically, the Trump tariffs going live, Liberation Day, had more of a negative impact than we had anticipated. And so that's why the timeline's been extended. I was originally thinking that XRP was going to be at an all-time high. basically by, the end of April. I thought in March or April we would be at an all-time high. That didn't happen, and that was because of the Trump tariffs. And not only the tariffs come in, but they were worse than anticipated. And so that's basically the reason why we haven't been at an all-time high yet. But the momentum is still building. As far as XRP by the end of April, probably going to trade between, I'd like to see it at least just trading between 220 and 250. And, if we break higher than that, I could see it moving towards $3. But there's a lot of people that are going to be selling off XRP between $3 and $4. So it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of liquidity coming in. But all it takes is, one tweet. All it takes is the settlement. In the case, the official headline hitting. We have more ETFs going live at the end of this month. But yeah, I'm not expecting fireworks by the end of this month per se, but I am expecting XRP to go to an all-time high by the end of, over the next 60 days, I would say. May, June. I am expecting XRP to go to an all-time high. Yeah. No. See, folks say nobody can answer this question, but that's the game. That's the game, right? See, that's the game. The game is to forecast. People say, why don't you just stop with your price predictions? One of the few things that I've gotten wrong is XRP expectations and price. We thought that we were going to pump to the moon back in 2018, 2019, 2020. Here we are in 2025, and we finally have ripped. We did pump 500%. So we did move. And we still got a lot more, right? But I'm not going to stop dropping predictions. I'm not going to stop giving forecasts because that's the entire game, right? But we need something big to hit that's going to bring in those inflows, because that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. We're going to need inflows into XRP that are big enough to break through those sell walls of people that are trading short term, people that are waiting to get out of XRP. We got to get all of that cleared out, and it's going to take significant liquidity coming in to do so. Significant compared to what we've had so far. It's not going to take trillions of dollars, but I've shown you guys what 20 to 50 million of inflows can do for XRP. It can move its market cap by tens of billions. Like, conservatively, I would say you're looking at a 50 to 100x multiplier on XRP right now. So if we get, 50 million of inflows, market cap's going to grow by 50 billion. So 100x. I see some comments on Zebek. So I'm going to drop my deep dive on Zebek this week. The reason why it's come down recently is pretty silly, actually. Basically, they had shared out that they had partnered up with White Rock. White Rock Finance was going to use their card program, which they still are. But White Rock basically told Zebek that they were partnered up with World Liberty Financial. And so Zebek shared that they had partnered up with White Rock, and White Rock was partnered up with World Liberty Financial. And everybody says Trump's World Liberty Financial, even though it's not Trump's World Liberty Financial. But this is what people say. And as that news kind of came out that wasn't the case, White Rock is not partnered up with World Liberty Financial. We saw that kind of added a little bit more FUD towards Zebek, and it kind of fueled this sell-off. But I'm going to be looking to buy some more Zebek. Like, I'm not even flinching at this pullback that happened on Zebek. I'll pull up the Zebek chart right now. Right now it's down below 0.0008. Okay. And so I bought in above 0.0009. You saw what happened after we talked about Zebek. It shot right up, dropped to zero, pumped by 30% plus, but then started to cool off, had a little bit of a sell-off, and then what happened basically today was just a miscommunication. But honestly, they shouldn't have even tried to hype that up. I'm not impressed by it's not Trump's World Liberty Financial. I'm not impressed with World Liberty Financial. And I'm actually very worried about White Rock Finance, especially because they're getting people's XRP. They haven't posted an XRP wallet address. We don't necessarily know where all of their yields coming from. They're touting hundreds of millions of assets under management. We need to see a little bit more from White Rock. I watched, it was one of the most painful listens I've ever had to watch, which was, I think, the head guy from White Rock Finance. He's a guy probably my age or younger. And he did about an hour-long Q&A. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And this is White Rock. This is not Zebek. This is White Rock. And White Rock is one of the big, DeFi programs here in the XRP ledger right now. You have White Rock, you have Doppler Finance, and this is what I talked about in my Discord weekly call last week, is how I wasn't liking what I saw out of Doppler, and I wasn't liking what I saw out of White Rock. But I listened to this Q&A. It was an hour-long listen, and my guy just doesn't have it for presenting for an hour-long Q&A, and just what he had to share was bad. And so we need to see more from White Rock. We need to see more from other yield providers on the XRP ledger too. And folks have been asking me for my thoughts about White Rock. That's what you're getting now is the nice version. What I said in my Discord weekly call was how I really feel. We need to see more. We need to do better. We need to, command better. And White Rock shouldn't be running around saying that they're working with World Liberty Financial when that's not the case. The fact that they're doing that makes me even more concerned about their 200 million real world assets tokenized and everything else that they're claiming. Okay? Yep. Not worried about Zebek either, legend. Absolutely, brother. Not worried about it. If all these experts are saying the XRP, well, you got to be careful, Jeffrey, because, we got to, who really is an expert, right? There's a lot of people throwing out a lot of crap about XRP going to, $10,000 tomorrow. There's a lot of FUD on XRP, and then there's a lot of overhype. We try to cut through the noise. To me, there's just too big of a sell wall. Between $5 and $10 that we won't have some sort of pullback there. Now, I don't rule out going to high prices, but we just have to acknowledge what would actually get us there versus just throwing out numbers and hoping that it goes there. Like using my market cap multiplier, you can start to quantify how much it would take for XRP to go up to $100. So there are some so-called expert gurus who say that XRP can't go to $30 because of market cap constraints. We've completely destroyed that argument. So we've destroyed that. But on the other end of the spectrum, for guys that are hyping up XRP, you have to ask what's their bias, what's their incentive to hype up XRP, and can they back it with real fundamental analysis? That's what it comes down to. Amazon partnered with XRP. So, yeah, they're using Amazon Web Services. I don't think that there's anything new as far as an Amazon partnership, but yeah. Bitcoin should jump on the XRP ledger, and I think it will. We need a legitimate issuer. We need more legitimate issuers of assets on the XRP ledger. You've been holding Zebek since before the split? Wow, that's a while. Jeremy, yeah, I can talk about XDC. We need to see more from them. Another crypto project that I think that's falling short on their marketing and communications. Real utility, solving real problems, but we need an update on the traction and adoption from them. So that's kind of my sentiment towards XDC right now. As far as price action, I still think it's running towards 40 or 50 cents this bull run. Nice. I see. I just got an email. We just got, okay. Look out. We're going to be adding the XRP greenhouse, which is one of my favorite shirts of the Bearable Guy collection. We'll be adding that tomorrow. We'll be adding that tomorrow. Thoughts on Sologenic and Corium? Okay, so Sologenic has partnered up with Texture Capital, and they're working on tokenizing stocks. I like to see the development there. That's good. The problem that I have right now is this conflict between what they're building out on Corium, which is its own native chain, versus Sologenic, which was launched on the XRP ledger, has leveraged the XRP ledger in the XRP ledger community and ecosystem. But with Solo and Core, we need to see more. We need to see more. I like the new CEO, Mike McCloney, I think is his name. I probably pronounced that. Mike, I know he's Mike. I think that he looks like he'll do a decent job representing Sologenic and Corium. But they've partnered up with Texture Capital. Texture Capital was actually at the crypto summit. So Texture Capital is a real player, and what they're doing with the tokenized stocks is for real. I worry about how, basically how much of it is it going to be on the XRP ledger, and ultimately how are they going to drive value to the Solo token. Now, Corium's a different story. Corium, they're building their own ecosystem. It's basically a smart contract blockchain. We talk about this hub and spoke model with Flare, Zahao, and all these smart contract EVM sidechain all built around the XRP ledger. Corium's set themselves up to be one of those hubs for smart contracts and programmability next to XRP. The problem is I worry about, will it take away value from Sologenic, and or how does value get brought to the Sologenic token? Are we going to be using that with the tokenized stock offering? Are we going to be using that to, provide yield for Solo holders down the road? Well, where's the value going to come for Sologenic? That's my main concern. It seems like they've transitioned most of their focus towards Corium, and then they're working on tokenizing the stocks. But, we'll see. We'll see from them. I still think that they move, though. I still think that they move. I got targets for Sologenic that are a lot higher. Yeah, it went all the way up to about 5-6 XRP, $5-6 in dollar terms. So Sologenic usually follows XRP fairly well. It can actually outperform potentially too. So it's a good way to hedge your XRP. Do I have Fuzzy Bear coin? Well, last time I talked about the Fuzzy Bear coin, I made some people upset, which typically happens when I talk about other cryptos. That's okay. Because I said that I don't think that David Schwartz created Fuzzy, but boy, have they done a hell of a job pumping up Fuzzy. Last time I looked at it, it was at about an 8 million market cap. They doubled it up to about 50 million. So they're pumping it. They're doing a very good job at that. I just don't think that David created the token. That's it. Like, I'm neutral. I'm not buying it. Am I fading it and missing out on gains? Sure. Okay. And basically David Schwartz, he actually changed his PFP. I'll pull it up right now to show you guys. David Schwartz changed his PFP tonight, and so it has both the bear community and the Fuzzy community going crazy. Check it out. David's such a funny guy. Let me show you guys this. Does that work? Okay, yeah. This is David Schwartz's new PFP. Somebody created this AI picture, and they were trying to get maybe let me see if I can find it here. They were trying to get David to change his profile picture to some picture of the bear. Where did it go? Did I lose it? Okay, I lost it. Let me go back here. Yeah, but this is David Schwartz's official Twitter page right here. Okay. And basically they were trying to get him to change his PFP. And somebody posted this underneath it. And it's the nice bear saying, over his shoulder saying, don't change it. And then it's the devil bear on his shoulder saying, go ahead and change your PFP. Well, David, he gave in to temptation. He gave in to sin. And he changed his profile picture. So at this point, we are going to have to say a prayer for David. We're going to have to ask God to forgive him. He was tempted by the devil to change his profile picture, and he did. And may God forgive him. What the hell is this? Okay, my TikTok. Let me catch up here. Hey Dennis, thank you for the 5 spot. Are people here aware that Swift is going live November 22nd with ISO 222 and Link is helping to onboard blockchains, likely XRP and HBAR, trillions per day? Yeah, Dennis, that's where I'm at with ISO. Is this year we go live, right? They're pushing back dates for FedWire. They're pushing back dates for this group, pushing back dates for this consortium. It gets finalized this year, right? So I'm not hanging my hat on any particular ISO go live date anymore, but it is true that all systems upgrade this year. And it is a very important point, and it's a point that even the Tia Cream CEO mentioned with the acquisition of Hidden Road by Ripple. It's a prime broker moving $3 trillion on a yearly basis. This is before ISO updates. This is before Swift updates. This is before the new financial system, is finalized. So, yeah, we have a portion of $3 trillion on a yearly basis moving towards the XRP ledger now. Crypto Clay, thank you for the 50 spot. That's a big one, Clay. Thank you. Stu, Dennis, 1970 legend. Great to see you guys. Mickle Mafia in the house. Dive deeper on Solo Zach. See you at Hagen. See me at Hagen. What are you talking about, Hagen? Hagen? What are you talking about? Are you talking about the grocery store Hagen's? We have a chain of grocery stores in Washington called Hagen's. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Hey, Clay, I appreciate it. We appreciate the Mickle Mafia. We appreciate Mickle. Gonna be a good time. Get to see Mickle again. I think, is Mickle gonna be in Vegas? Yeah, he's gonna be in Vegas. Yeah, because he's gonna be at that meetup that Jay's putting on. 68J. Yeah, that'll be a good time. I appreciate that. Hagen's has a good deli. That's true. Yeah. Vegas misspelled as Hagen. Yeah. Oh, I see an alien emoji. Are the aliens in the chat with us? Are the aliens here with us? David got tempted. I'm worried about him. I'm worried about David here. What are we going to do with him? What's the best exchange to buy XRP with the most accurate market price? Well, so on Caleb and Brown, they're gonna give you a price on your order, and they'll close you at that price. So Caleb and Brown is probably the best platform to get your price guaranteed and locked in, I would say. When you buy on Uphold, they have slippage. Basically, that's the discrepancy between the going market price and what they actually have orders closing at. And so you can get hit with that slippage. Caleb and Brown does a really good job of filling you at the target that you have set. So I like buying on Caleb and Brown. I like buying on Uphold too. But right now, Coinbase actually has the lowest fees out of any exchange that I use. So I use a combination of Coinbase, Uphold, and Caleb and Brown right now. That's what I do, right? Caleb and Brown has the best service in the business. Uphold is a good platform. Coinbase, I don't trust, but I use their platform and their fees are low. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Oh, by the way, I actually wanted to mention for everybody too. Today I actually added Decent Wallet. The Decent Wallet has been added as an affiliate and community resource to the channel. So it should be linked up in the description of this video. And then it should be added to our website later too. But I know for sure I added it to the YouTube description for this video. So for any of you guys who are looking for another wallet, the Decent Wallets are a fan favorite. Great reviews, great feedback. I've added them down below, made it available for you guys. If you want to use our links, any of our links are another way to support our cause over here. And I greatly appreciate you for using them. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about that one. That one's a good one for holding XDC. And they actually just added DAG. That was the other piece of news that I wanted to share with you guys. Decent, they've just now added DAG. So if you're looking for a place to hold the DAG token cold storage, you now have a solution, okay? The other big one that they had is XDC. XDC is not available on every cold storage platform. So yeah, get you a Decent wallet. Hey, thank you for the 2 spot. Do you know much about RXS Rexus Finance? I've never heard of that. No. RXS. Decent's amazing. Decent are so easy from Stu. Yep. Yeah, I've got a lot of good feedback on the Decent wallet. RXS Rexus Finance. I'm not even seeing, what is it, 1 billion? It doesn't even have a chart. Yeah, I don't know. You guys and your tickers, man. Yeah. My current DCA is 53 cents. Does it make sense to buy more at this price or wait for another dip? Well, it's obviously always best to wait for a dip if you can. If a dip is coming, it's always better to buy it cheaper. The problem with this is you have to ask yourself, why are we buying it? Are we buying it for a short-term trade? Or are we just accumulating because it's a long-term hold? If you're accumulating for a long-term hold, I wouldn't worry so much about the timing, right? I would just continue to DCA in. You got a paycheck with a little extra to spend, go ahead. You got a chunk of change, say $10,000, or we're going to deploy it into XRP or any other asset for that matter. I never go in with one buy. What I'll do is I would place 3 to 5 orders in a range between today's price and, 20% lower, depending on, the sentiment, the technical analysis. Do you want to place orders that are, further down, or do you want to just buy within maybe a margin that's 5 to 10% from today's price, right? if you feel like XRP's got strong bullish technicals behind it, then I would just, look to buy within a 5 to 10% range of where it's at right now. And then always, you can always just market buy now if you need to scratch the itch. If you got that much FOMO, you just market buy now, and then you set another order about 5% below where we're at right now. Or you can find a big psychological number too. Like, for example, I'll go to the XRP chart as an example right now, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Okay, so here's XRP. Okay, we're at 222. While I've been streaming, we have been moving up. I might have to keep the stream rolling. What do you guys say? So we're at 222, and you're gonna have down at around 210, you're about 5% off, and right at $2 would be a 10% move. So yeah, you could buy now, place an order around 210. And then place an order right above $2. I wouldn't place it right at 2. I would place it above. And what I would do is I would look at, oh, wow, we've tapped off this level here at 204. We tapped off here at 204 again. We basically, we triple tapped this level at 204. So I'm going to set my order at 205. That's how I view and look at, buying in or laddering in to these cryptocurrencies, whether that be XRP or others. But like I said, if you're buying long-term holds, no need to worry about 5 or 10% difference right now. It's just not going to make that much of a difference long-term. What do I know about the XRP ledger hack or compromise? Yeah, Chester, it's a good question. I wasn't going to mention the issue. It was not an issue with the XRP ledger. And this is why I wasn't going to mention it, is because it wasn't even worth allowing any sort of FUD to be spread about this. The XRP ledger was never compromised. There was never any hack. It was an issue on a platform that's similar to GitHub, where they post the Ripple D software. From my understanding, it was basically a platform that posts the software, and basically there's certain people or companies or service providers that pull code from that provider. And so basically what was an issue, the issue was that there was a bug. There's some sort of issue in that code that had been uploaded specifically to that site. And if you had, updated or pulled that code in the last 24 hours or something, you could have found that exploit within your code. But it did not impact the entire XRP ledger. It did not impact our GitHub. And the reason why I didn't share it is because it wasn't an issue that affected the XRP ledger. And I already commented on it this morning saying, I retweeted the engineer from Ripple, which I'll pull up that tweet right now just so I can read it off and actually read off what she had to say, because she understands this is not my forte. But I retweeted, I said, the XRP ledger is safe. Please note what actually happened versus the crazy FUD narratives that will be derived from this, because that's what the full-time FUDsters do. The full-time FUDsters, they hop on news like this, they spin it up, they act like the XRP ledger is compromised, even though it never impacted the XRP ledger itself. Okay, this is Mayuka, senior software engineer at RippleX. The XRP ledger itself is unaffected by this. The malware packages only affect services that use XRP ledger.js, that's JavaScript, and upgraded to the malicious versions that were published less than 24 hours ago. GitHub remains safe. Only NPM was compromised. So like I said, it's some software provider similar to GitHub, but different. And somehow somebody was allowed to basically submit some code that was bad. And she says, please avoid using any services that have access to your private key seed until they have confirmed to be unaffected. Many of them, like Zalman Wallet, First Ledger, Gen3 Games, have already confirmed here. So this didn't impact Zalman, First Ledger. I don't even know any of the service providers that do use this. But yeah, I mean, this is something that did happen, not an issue that affected the entire XRP ledger. And if you just are holding your XRP, you have no risk. There's nothing to worry about, right? This would only be a concern if you were using a service provider that pulled this code, but the fix has already been issued. So I don't think that anybody was affected and no funds were lost. Yeah. But it's a good question. I guess it was worthy of a mention. It's just I wanted to be careful because you know what the full-time fuzzsters like to do. They like to spin up these crazy stories. Christy, I appreciate the 20 spot and the hug, the super chat hug. I appreciate you. Good to see you. Yep. Dennis, yep. Vet said it was malware. Yep. Thank you. Which ETF goes live on April 30th? That would be the ProShares, Short XRP, Ultra Short XRP, and Ultra XRP. 3 XRP leveraged ETFs that will be going live on April 30th. At least that's the day that they're hoping to get approval for. We'll see if they actually get it. Look at this, guys. 77 million traded on XRP within a 5-minute window today. That's a little litty from Vet. Yeah, that's a little bit of liquidity. I wonder if I could find the inflows. Let me go to the 5-minute. What was that spike today? So yeah, okay. Was that at 8:05 my time? That was like what, 11:30? That was the biggest spike that we saw today. 8.6 million. 8.6 million. Let me write this down. $8.6 million. Now let me go to my XRP market cap chart. This will be interesting to see during a 5-minute window. Okay. I think I have it right here. That would be this this candle right here at 8:05. Let's measure that. That's, well, we did all go all the way down here. So we measure right there. 1.39 billion. 1.39 billion of market cap growth within 5 minutes off of just 8 million of inflows. It's a 161x multiplier. Check it out. Go right here. 1.39 billion divided by 8.6 million. That's a 161x multiplier. Once again, reiterating, we're not even close to it being a 1-to-1 ratio. It's so far from being 1-to-1 as far as market cap growing from inflows. 225. Did we just pop up to 225 for XRP? No, we're at 222. 222. What do I think about Telcoin? It's on my list to deep dive. Yeah, I haven't bought any Telcoin yet, but I do like the technical structure. I like what I've heard about them, getting a bank charter and the work that they're doing. So I like what I'm hearing so far, but I need to look a little bit further on them before I make an investment. Yep. Yep. Read my dono, please, Zach. What are you talking about, James? Zach, how do you think that Bitcoin will be regulated with no one to hold accountable? Well, they can always hit the off ramps and on ramps. I mean, it's clear that they're giving Bitcoin a free pass. They're letting Bitcoin go. But the problem for Bitcoin is going to be lack of demand. No utility. So you can only drive demand for an asset without utility so far. That's the big problem. No, I didn't use my platform to pump and dump Zebek. I didn't sell my Zebek, and I'm about to buy more. No, I mean, and the levels that I expect Zebek to go to, we weren't even close. Please explain inflows. Do you mean purchases? Yes. Basically, you have inflows, you have outflows, you have money coming in, you have money going out. Are more people buying or selling the asset? And so what we just tracked during that 5-minute window was there was 8.6 million of inflows into XRP in that 5-minute window, and the market cap grew by over $1 billion. So our multiplier on that's about 161. What's not included in my equation is the futures market. So that can add some fuel to that as well. But the demonstration shows us that we're not at a 1-to-1 ratio. We're not even close. So if you're wondering, gee, how does XRP go to $1,000? That would be a market cap of whatever, however many trillion that would be. The TradFi thinking suggests that you would need, tens of trillions to flow into the asset, but that's not the case. That's true, Stu. Yeah, the Bitcoin bros, they only talk about the inflows, not the outflows. That's true. We saw that with the ETFs. Yeah, that happened during the ETFs. And that's why we look at the net flows. Because the net flow is going to add up our inflows, our outflows, and it gives us a result that we can actually work with. Now, what was happening last year when the ETFs went live, they were reporting, oh, look at all these inflows. This is the best thing ever. But what they weren't sharing was the outflows. And during certain periods, there ended up being more outflows than inflows. Zach, I sent you a donation above. You missed it. Okay. James, thank you. Yes. Is MXC dead? Think it will come back with an update? What's MXC? I don't know what MXC is. What's MXC? Moonchain? Are you talking about Moonchain? Market cap of 3.3 million? Please don't tell me you're asking me about Moonchain. You talking about Moonchain there, James? He says yes. I've never heard of this coin. It looks like they're processing migration from L1 to L3 chain. Wow. Rank number 1,415. Boy, this one's taking a hit. Down 31% in the last 7 days, 45% in the last month, and 91% this year. That's a rough go at it for this Moonchain. Wow. Yeah, I'd say that one looks pretty rough. Might be tough to revive that one. Why am I fading Fuzzy? Okay. Oh, boy. So you have to be careful because these guys are going to clip me up. They're going to share it out. They're going to try to clown me. Let's look. I haven't been paying attention to the memes too closely, to be honest. I haven't been paying attention too much. Let's go see how the memes are doing. Holy smokes. They pumped Fuzzy all the way up here to 14.6 million. Check it out. Fuzzy's in the number 2 spot behind XRPM. Fuzzy going on a tear. Wow. Wow. I missed it. I should have joined the Zoo Cabal. That's kind of where I'm at. You know, I just feel like I missed it. I missed the signal from the Zoo Cabal. And now I'm just going to have to eat it, you know? X-Men's in the house. What's up, brother? What's up, man? Show us X-Men next. Now, I saw the X-Men was moving again. I saw that you guys got that one moving. I shouldn't have faded the Zoo Cabal. I shouldn't have faded Fuzzy. And, oh wait, no, let's go back. Yeah. Now let's take a look at X-Men. Now, I did have X-Men at one point. Oh, wow. You guys have been putting in some work right here. Let's take a look at this chart here on X-Men. Wow. A little bit of action, I see. A little bit of action here on the daily. Up to 220,000 market cap. Wow. We got some heroes uniting. Pumping her up. That's good. Can I break down Zebek? Yeah, I'll have a deep dive on it dropping. Yeah. Gosh. I hate investing in projects where I feel like I'm late. And that's where I'm at with Fuzzy, right? I don't like when I feel like other guys got the jump on me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm at with Fuzzy. And I've done this with other coins too. Like you guys have seen me get wrecked on other ones too, where I completely faded them. The chart goes ballistic. And I just sit here without a bag. You know? No way. Stu Peters launched a coin? That's crazy. That's crazy. Look at these heroes in the chat, Max engaging. I think the Zoo Cabal is raiding my stream right now. The Zoo Cabal, we got their attention. But, you know, I hope that Fuzzy keeps on going. But I think that you guys are absolutely crazy with your fuzzy riddles. I think you guys are crazy. I like riddles. I like conspiracies. I like doing the decodes. I like looking at the bear. I like looking at, the jester, the castle. I got on the poker table right now. I love me a good riddle. But you guys are crazy. You guys are out of your minds. This is I'm looking forward to the Sigma guys are throwing a party down in Vegas, and I'm looking fun. Man, I like the spaces. I like talking smack, and I'm looking forward to folks telling me, Zach, I'm gonna buy a drink for your broke ass because you faded Fuzzy. You know, I'm waiting for you guys to tell me that. That'll be fun. That'll be good. Zach, you poor guy. You faded Fuzzy. You faded X-Men. We feel bad for you. We'll pour one out. I was just looking though. Somebody was talking about Doge and Pepe, and it was Ocean on Twitter, and he said that they were still going to pop off, and I said, haven't these memes been exhausted? And he's he gave me a detailed response of why they still were probably going to recover and do something, which that would be good because I do hold a bag of Doge and I can't wait to get rid of it. Can't wait to dump that bag. But he noted, and one of the data points that stuck out to me was just the sheer amount of volume that is still trading for Pepe and for Doge. And it just reminds us how far we have to go on the XRP memes. Like, honestly, you could probably do fine by throwing a little bit across the board at these memes, and some would go. I've done so. I mean, I do hold some XRP memes, but you got to be careful because we got some real vultures that have showed up on the ledger, right? Really coming in to extract it from us. And so you got to be careful out here. Like, yeah, but we have a long ways to go. And the problem is that because we have so little liquidity, it doesn't take much to nuke a chart. Like, one guy getting pissed off can nuke a chart. And that's the problem. That's the risk. But at the same time, you get a few of your friends to go in on a coin, you can move these things significantly. So we're still very early. I know a lot of people don't play in the memes, and that's okay too. Yeah, but we got some real trained killers that are showing up in our ledger, and so we just got to be mindful of that. These guys are killers that come from Solana. These guys are degens that come from these other ecosystems, and they're trained up. And then you got some XRP newbies in the memes, and they're strut on in. Oh, let's have a good time. And they get clapped up. But yeah, I think really you protect yourself with a good community. That's why XRP is so strong, right? I mean, the strength of our communities held up XRP. You get some of these other meme coins too that for whatever reason, you know. New to this and don't have a clue what you're talking about, well, that's what we're here to do. We'll get you caught up to sleep. We'll not to sleep, not caught up to sleep, caught up to speed. Get you caught up to speed. You know. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap up this session here, though. I had a pleasure reporting the news tonight. Also enjoyed seeing XRP moving back up today. I think that we are, going to be returning back. Risk on environment is going to return here shortly. President Trump signing peace deals, signing trade deals. That money printer waiting and getting warmed up, ready to go burr. Powell drop rates, and you add all of that to the specific catalysts that are bullish for XRP. I couldn't be more bullish on the asset and on our ecosystem for that matter too. So I'm really looking forward to that. Daniel asks, why do you think that the multiplier fluctuates so much? It's just the velocity of liquidity coming in. So the faster that it's coming in, the multiplier is going to be more dramatic. Also based off of the size of the market cap. So with a small asset, like, Zebek was a good example. I looked at the inflows on Zebek. It wasn't significant. Like, it wasn't tens of millions that poured into Zebek that pumped it up by, 5-10 million? The market cap was at about 70 million when I first talked about it. And then it went up over 75. And I think it actually got up by more. It grew by 20. It grew by 20 million, and it didn't have 20 million of inflows. It had like a couple million of inflows, if that. It actually, it's tough to track because they don't even report it on CoinGlass. That's right. But essentially, based off of how the size of the market cap versus the velocity of the inflows, that's what makes the market cap multiplier fluctuate so much. Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody for stopping by tonight. Like I said earlier, we are live with the XRP poker table on our shop. We are live with the XRP dog tags. We got the XRP family. We got the XRP The Better Bitcoin, all live on the website. And we'll be adding the greenhouse tomorrow as well. So we appreciate all your support. I just added the Decent wallet too, a new community resource available in the description of this video. If you're looking to store your cryptocurrency, cold storage solution, we got you covered. But all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. If you're looking to join our Patreon, that's what would get you access to our Discord group. We would love to have you in the family. We just actually updated and revamped. We're in the process of revamping our Discord, changing a few things around and simplifying it for new people coming in. But once again, thank you for stopping by tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will be back again live Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, along with our Discord weekly call every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. So join us there, zachrector.com, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? God bless you all. Thank you.